Go ahead and pre-make a 50-50 mix of all-purpose flour and whole wheat flour. I really like King Arthur flour, but there's plenty of others. This is your mother. Make sure you feed your mother at least a couple times a week, or she'll die. Dun, dun, dun. Generally, Martha will stay in the fridge, but it comes out for a couple days prior to getting started with the process of starting to bake. For discard, I really love littlespoonfarm.com. There's tons of great recipes to use your discard. You know your lemon will be ready when it has grown twice the size and you can see little bubbles. Prepare to autolyze by adding 100 grams of whole wheat flour, 900 grams of all-purpose flour, and 750 grams of warm water. Once it all is mixed, cover with a towel and leave on the counter for 2 hours. The next step is to add 150 grams of the leaven and 20 grams of the fine sea salt or Himalayan salt. You could also add extras, and this is when we begin the stretch and folds. So a series of stretch and folds where you just take one end of the dough, pull, stretch it over, pull, stretch it over, go around a couple times. And then squish. Knead the dough. And then I would just do a series of stretch and folds again until you feel like everything is mixed in well. I know that sound is awful. Squish, squish. And then you cover, and every 30 minutes, we will do something I call the floppy cat. Here's the example of a floppy cat. This step is done later. 30 minutes
Turn the bowl
after
quarter turn.
You let it sit
dough
and cover.
Just let it kind of fold
You
over.
do this a series of 4 to 6
turn.
times. Wait 30 minutes between each
Quarter turn.
floppy cat session for a total of about 4 to 6.
Cover it.
The stretch and folds happens once, and then the floppy cats happen every 30 minutes for 2 hours. By the way, I named it Floppy Cat. I don't remember what it's really called. From here, you'll take the dough out of the mixing bowl and place it to rest on a floured surface for about 15 to 40 minutes. Chicken sounds. I do 4 loaves at a time. That means you have to double the recipe, and I usually just use 2 mason jars and do 2 leavens, and I just bake 4 loaves a week. So I'm doing stretches and folds on each one. So before I cut it, I do a few stretch and folds, and then after I cut, I do the same, just to kind of create some air pockets in the bread dough. I use full cotton bandanas or old t-shirts. It's really important that it's cotton only, as colors can bleed through. Here are the finishing touches of shaping the dough. So I'm just using my bench scraper to kind of form the dough balls in preparation for actually baking. So creating more of a bread shape. I'm videoing.
She take the dough, she spin it around. See the spin? She can spin it around. And then she take the dough, she smack it down on the bottom. And then she smack it on the top. Then she spin it around. Oh, and then she switch to the other one. Then she spin it around. And then she flip it. Then she spin it around. And she flip it around. Then she go down. Flip it and spin it. Whoa.
Once I've placed them in the floured old t-shirts or whatever these are called, what are they?
Bandanas.
Thank you. Once I folded these,
old underwear.
once I do this, I'll take like an old grocery bag, stick it in there, and just loosely tie it. Kind of gives the environment for it to continue its process and fluff up in the fridge. And then by morning time, we'll start our baking process. I take scissors and I cut the bread, or you can take a knife and just scour it, so it kind of leaves some openings here. But I use parchment paper and lightly flour it before I set the refrigerated spools out onto the paper. I just cut it, and then this is kind of my way, and then I put it into my loaf pans. I use two types of pans. I use a Dutch oven. That one is the one I've used the most, and recently I now have a ceramic loaf pan that has holes on top of the lid. So the first round for 20 minutes, 480 degrees, the lids are on top, and then after 20 minutes you will reduce the temperature to 450 degrees. You'll take the Dutch oven's lid off, but I will keep this loaf pan's lid on because of the holes. Once your bread is complete, make sure you leave it out on the counter for an hour before eating. Enjoy!